Hello everyone, welcome to Mohan's Teaching Corner. Today we are going to discuss about the paper 2 for the diet lecturers and Gazetted HM and Deputy DEO examination. Purpose, there is a paper 2 in which we are going to discuss about the foundation of education, in which we will discuss about the nature and scope of philosophical foundation and sociological foundation of education. Let us start. Here the philosophical foundation and sociological foundation, what is it, we are going to discuss. So in this particular session we are going to discuss understanding the idealism, realism, pragmatism and existentialism and their impact on educational practices. Then we'll discuss about the sociological foundation, which includes the learning about the functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionism and critical theory of educational context. Then third one, we are going to discuss about the integration of the approaches. We are going to combine the philosophical and sociological perspectives for better teaching outcome. And in the fourth one, we'll discuss about the multiple choice questions related to the particular topic. So understanding the philosophical foundation. So what is philosophical foundation? Philosophical foundation refers to the fundamental belief of systems, theoretical framework that guides the educational aims, curriculum development, teaching methodologies. So these foundation help the educator answer the essential questions like what is the purpose of education, why is the knowledge is most important, how the learning can be done better way. We are going to discuss about the teacher student relationship. So it comes under about the understanding the philosophical foundations. So importance of philosophical foundation, why we have to study this philosophical foundation. It guides the educational aims, it shapes the curriculum design, it informs about the teaching methods, it clarifies about the educator role. So guides educational aims means what? It helps to determine what to achieve through education. So how we can create the good citizens of our students, how we are going to make the skilled workers, how we are going to make all well-rounded individuals or well-developed individual or 360 degrees developed individual. How? This is the aims of education. Then we are going to through this philosophical foundation we are going to shape the curriculum design. Okay, it influences the subject what need to taught and how that subject is going to be organized and which methodologies are to be employed. So that is the shaping the curriculum design. And this philosophical foundation, it informs about the teaching method. So different philosophical perspectives suggest the different approaches instruction from lecture to discover learning. So those who are done their B.Ed, they are able to tell like methods of teaching and etc. Then clarifies the teacher's educator role. So through philosophical foundation, it helps the teacher to understand what is the responsibilities, whether as a teacher is the knowledge transformer or facilitator or agent of social change. So this is the importance of philosophical foundation. It guides about the educational aims, it shapes the curriculum design, it informs the what is the teaching methods and approaches, and it clarifies the what is the educator role. Then here, as we discussed, we are going to discuss about the idealism. Okay, what is idealism? What is the principles of idealism? Here the idealism, the key principles are: reality is a spiritual and mental in nature, truth and values are absolute universal, knowledge comes from reasoning and institution, and education aims to develop the mind characters. So great thinkers about the idealism is the Plato, Socrates, Rabindranath Tagore and Swami Vivekananda. These are the philosophers who supported the idealism. The name is Plato, Socrates, Rabindranath Tagore, Swami Vivekananda. So what is going to be implemented in idealism? So focus on humanities, literature and moral education, and teacher role as like role model of virtue and wisdom, emphasis on discussion and questioning. So character development is the main priority is given. Gurukula system in traditional Indian education system. So this is about the idealism. Then I will discuss about the realism. What is realism in education? The key principles of realism is reality exists independent of the mind. So knowledge comes from the observation and experience. Education should prepare for real life. Focus on objective facts and natural laws. So who are the main thinkers are Aristotle, John Locke, Francis Bacon and S. Radhakrishnan. So what is the classroom implications in realism? Emphasis on science and mathematics, practical demonstration and experiment, teaching concentrate before abstract. So we have to teach concrete before abstract concepts. So structured curriculum with the logical sequence, then technical education and skill development. So this is a realism. Okay, the thinkers are Aristotle, John Locke, Francis Bacon and Radhakrishnan. And one more thing, I request you go through your Telugu Academy book, whether it is D.Ed and B.Ed, then that will be give more information about the subject. And then here we already discussed about the realism and idealism. Now we are going to discuss about the pragmatism in education. So what is the key principles of pragmatism? Truth is what works in practice. Knowledge comes from activities and experience. So education should be a practical and useful. Learning by doing and problem solving. This is about the pragmatism. So the great thinkers about the this pragmatism is John Dewey, William James, Charles Sanders Peirce, Mahatma Gandhi. There is basic education and Talim. These are all comes under pragmatism. So what is the classroom implications is project based and experiential learning and integration of the subject and around problems. Then it is the student centered teaching method. Okay, cooperative learning activities. So here Gandhi is Talim, craft centered education, which comes under pragmatism. So the great thinkers, key thinkers about this particular pragmatism is John Dewey, William James, Charles Sanders Peirce and Mahatma Gandhi. Then we'll discuss existentialism in education. What is the key principles of existentialism? Okay, individual create meaning through choices. Freedom and responsibility are the central. Subject experience matter more than objective facts. Education should promote authentic self-discovery. So it is about the, we have to give them more freedom and let them discover, let them express themselves, let them give the freedom along with the responsibility. This is the main central theme of existentialism. Okay, the great thinkers are Jean-Paul Sartre, Soren Kierkegaard, Martin Buber, J. G.D. Krishnamurti. So what is the classroom implication? So the student has given more freedom and choices. So choice in learning activities, emphasis on art and creativity expression, open-ended questions are encouraged and personal reflection will be allowed. Then a teacher, here the teacher is a facilitator, not authoritative. Then in India, Krishnamurti schools in India, this is the main thing. Well, this is the existentialism in education. So if you want to, you can take the screenshot of each and every ism, that will be helpful to you. Okay, then let us compare with the philosophical, like comparing the philosophical schools. So there are philosophical, what are the philosophical schools are here? Idealism, realism, pragmatism, existentialism. So Here in idealism, it is about the spiritual and mental, and in realism, material and objective. In pragmatism, what works and its utility, and exists subjective center. So, what is the source of different isms? It is the knowledge source in idealism, reasoning and institution. In realism, observation and experience. In pragmatism, activities and problem solving method. Then existentialism, it is about the personal experience. What is the aim of different is philosophies here? In idealism, there is a character development. In realism, there is a master of facts. In pragmatism, practical skills. In existentialism, it is about the self discovery. So, what is the teaching method or follow different philosophies? So, in idealism, we are going to allow about the discussion and reading method. In realism, it is the demonstration and practice. And in pragmatism, project and experiments. In existentialism, creative expressions. So, please do take this screenshot so that it will be helpful to you. Then understanding, we are already discussed about the philosophical foundation. Now we are going to discuss about the sociological foundation. What is written here about the sociological foundation? Sociological foundation examine how social forces, structures and interaction influence the education system and practices. So these are the foundation help the educator to understand how schools function as a social institution, the relationship between education and society, and social factors affecting the learning outcome, then education role in social change and stability. So this is about the society, how the society is structured, how the interaction with the society and education, how the policy affect about the society in education, that it is included in sociological foundation. So what is the importance of sociological foundation? So we have to recognize the diversity. So the teacher understand and address the needs of different students from various backgrounds like social, economical, cultural and linguistic backgrounds. So if you know the diversity, if you know the different people, different culture, different economic status, different linguistic background, then you are able to promote the equity. So you can identify the structural barriers and inequalities in education and suggest the way to create the more inclusive learning environment. If you know about the diversity, if you know about the complexity in the society, then if you know the inequalities in education, you can give the best suggestion, you can give more inclusive classroom learning environment. Then strengthen the community connections. So it strengthens the understanding the relation between school, families, communities and supporting student success. So the student between school, family and community, it is a three, okay, in which the student is going to be affect how the student, the community can be, how the community can affect the students learning, how the community can help the strengthen the student success, that is there in the sociological foundation. So drive social change, examine the education role, either maintaining the status quo or transforming the society through critical consciousness. So what is functionalism in education? So we are discussing about the sociological foundation in which there is a functionalism in education. What is the key principles of functionalism? Society works as an integrated system of parts. Education serves as a essential function for society. So schools socialize the students into shared values. Education maintains the social order and stabilities. So who are the thinkers or who are the philosophers in functionalism? So Emily Durkheim, Talcott, Person and Robert Merton. So what is the educational functions? So educational is it is a knowledge transmission, socialize into cultural norms, social selection and allocation, integration and social cohesion, skill development, economic roles. So functionalism in education. So what is the conflict theory in education? Here you can observe people are doing very advanced here the study. Here the student is standing outside in the different society. There is a conflict in education system. So it says about the this theory explain about the conflict theory in education. What is the key principles of conflict theory? So society characterized by equality and inequality and competition. This society consists of more inequalities and more competition. Education reflects the repeated social inequalities, and certain people get the good education, certain people not get the education, through which reproduce the more inequalities. It says about the conflict theory in education. So school serves the interest of the dominant groups. So some of the schools exclusively work for the rich people and dominant people. So this is the conflict theory. Education credential maintain the class stratification. So it maintains the stratification. There is a division. So the society is divided on the basis of economics, on the basis of their background, their literacy, their economic status, like that. So who is the thinkers about the conflict theory? The thinkers like Karl Marx, Max Weber, Pierre Bourdieu, Samuel Bowles, and Herbert Gentes. So you should remember this. And then education. What is the education implications in the conflict theory of education? Hidden curriculum and reinforced social hierarchies. There is a hidden curriculum is there in the, it says about the conflict theory in education. Unequal access to quality education. Not everybody gets the same education. So cultural capital advantages and certain students. Education system perpetuates and economic disparities. It widens the gap between the poor and rich people. And there is a division rural urban in the Indian education system. It says about the conflict theory in education. So who are the thinkers in this one? Karl Marx, Max Weber, Pierre Bourdieu, Samuel Bowles, and Herbert Gentes. So please do subscribe my channel, and like we are preparing advancedly at free of cost, and it is very essential for you if you listen again and again. Okay, it gives more insights about the like coming notifications. And then symbolic interactionism in education. So what is the key principles of symbolic interactionism? It is the sociological perspectives. So society created through meaningful interaction. Individual interpret and respond to the symbols. Reality is a social is constructed. Focus on micro classroom interaction. So who is the thinkers are? George Herbert Mead, Herbert Blumer, Irving Goffman. What is the implications, education implications of symbolic interactionism in education? Teacher expectation share student performance. Labeling affects student self concept. Classroom interaction create the learning environment. Language and symbol influence the understanding. Teacher-student relationship impact outcome. So it happens, the education happens through interaction. So this is the symbolic, how you are going to interact with the student, that affects the student's performance. How the student, like the environment is there with the interaction with the different people. So who is the key thinkers are? George Herbert Mead, Herbert Blumer, Irving Goffman. Then critical theory in education. It is a part of philosophical, sociological foundation of in education. So the critical theory in education, what it says? Education should empower marginalized groups. So those who are marginalized groups, they should be empowered. They should be given more powers. They should be given more freedom. So schools can challenge and reinforce the oppression. So the school can challenge and reinforce, they can encourage the oppression people. Then knowledge is political and never neutral. Okay, consciousness rising leads into transformation. Who is the main thinkers about the critical theory in education? Paulo Freire, Henry Grex, bell hooks, Jyotirao Phule, B.R. Ambedkar. So they are supported marginalized groups and backward groups. Okay, like financially, economically backward. For them, who is the great thinkers? Paulo Freire, Henry Grex, bell hooks, Jyotirao Phule, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. What is the education implementations in the critical theory in education? Problem posing education versus banking model, critical pedagogical challenges status quo, then student voice and dialogues emphasized, education for the social justice and change, inclusive approach, caste, gender, creed. Okay, in Indian context. So who is the main thinkers? Paul Freire, Henry Grex, bell hooks, Jyotirao Phule, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. This is about the critical theory in education. So let us compare with the different sociological theories. There are three sociological theories: functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionism. Okay, critical theory. There are four: functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionism, and critical theory. So in functionalism, we'll discuss what is the view of education, what is the focus, what is the educational goal, what is the teaching approach. In functionalism, so the view of education is a socializing agent and focus on social stability. And what is the goal of education is the integration. What is the teaching method? Value transmission. What is the conflict theory? It is a view of education is a reproductive system. Okay, there is a focus on power and inequality. Okay, then what is the education goal? To awareness about this particular conflict. And what is the teaching approach? Challenging status quo. According to the status, it happens. And then symbolic interactionism is meme making process. There is an interaction, a focus on interaction, and education goes the understanding, and teaching approach is the communication focus. And critical theory, it is a transformative force from poor to rich, like that. Then emancipation. Then education goal is the we have to get the social justice, and teaching approach we can say that critical dialogues. So each theory offers a different lens of analyze education practices and their social implications. So according to different people have the different views about this particular sociological theories. There is functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionism, and critical theory. Then integration of philosophical and sociological perspectives. How we are going to integrate these philosophical and sociological perspectives? One is the classroom level. Combine the philosophical aims with the sociological awareness with the help the teacher create the inclusive learning environment that respect the diverse background while pursuing the educational goal. So our classroom should be inclusive. Okay, we have to respect the diversified backgrounds of the student, and we have to achieve the educational goals. Then in curriculum level, okay, how the curriculum developed, balancing the knowledge pursuit, philosophical foundation, then cultural relevance and social context. So create the more meaningful and inclusive learning content. When you are creating the curriculum, it should be a balancing one. It should be a balancing between philosophical and sociological perspectives, and you should create the more meaningful and creative learning context. And what should be the assessment? So evaluation method should be reflect the philosophical values, and that means realism, pragmatism, something like that. And about the knowledge matters, considering the sociological factors. You should consider their background, okay, their social status, okay, their perseverance, and that affects the, when you are assessing, you have to consider in the sociological as well as philosophical perspective. Then policy level. So it comes to the policy level. Educational policies needs to be both philosophical vision and purpose of education and sociological understanding, how the social structure affect the implementation. So when the policy makers are doing these policies, they have to consider about the philosophical things like idealism, realism, pragmatism, and in sociological also one has to consider functionalism, extremism, something like that. So that is going to be affect the education. So it should be integrated philosophical and sociological perspectives. Then Indian educational context, let us study about the Rabindranath Tagore's Shantiniketan and Mahatma Gandhi's Nai Talim and NEP, National Education Policy 2020. So Tagore's, okay, blended the realistic philosophy, spiritual and development with the sociological awareness, national environment and cultural context. So Tagore's blended is mixed with the philosophical thought like idealism and sociological awareness. In idealism, what is inculcated spiritual development, and in socialism, in sociological perspective, what's inculcated natural environment, cultural context. Here what Tagore says in Shantiniketan, education is harmony with the nature, art and creativity is more given importance, and culture rootedness and universal outlook is given in the Shantiniketan philosophical foundation like idealistic philosophy. Then sociological awareness is also included in Tagore's Shantiniketan. Then in Mahatma Gandhi's, that is a Nai Talim, okay, it combines the pragmatism. So learning through craft, it is a pragmatism, okay. Then with the cultural, with critical social theory, challenging the colonial education. So simultaneously went through the learning by doing through craft method, and is challenging like sociological theory, critical theory, is challenging the British rule, okay. So he inculcated about the work-centered education, then self-reliance and community development, and indigenous knowledge, vocalization, localization, oralization, whatever, okay. So this is about the Nai Talim, which integrated pragmatism, which is the philosophical foundation, and critical social theory, which is about the sociological perspectives. And it comes to the National Education Policy 2020. It integrates multiple things like philosophical approaches with sociological approaches in Indian diversity, like holistic and multidisciplinary education. So flexibility and choice of students, okay, equity and inclusion measures are taken according to the National Education Policy 2020. I'm going to give each and every topic, whether it is the sociological or foundation, and about the Tagore Shantiniketan or Gandhi's Naya Talim and New Education Policy 2020. Don't worry, I will give each and everything one by one, okay. Please do subscribe and share with your friends, okay. This is going to be helpful, and this entire lectures will be in English, okay. Certain things I am going to teach again and again, you need not to worry about that. Then let us have some examination about the what we learn through this particular lecture. So which philosophical approach emphasizes learning through direct experience and problem solving, okay. Here idealism, realism, pragmatism and existentialism. So it comes under philosophical pragmatism, which says about the learning through direct experience and problem solving. That's a pragmatism. The concept that education reproduces the social inequalities associated with, see here, observe the concept that education reproduces the social inequalities is associated with functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionism, idealism. So the concept reproduces social inequalities comes under conflict theory. Okay, who consider the father of banking concept and critics in education? Okay, so you have to study about the different philosophers. Okay, John Dewey, Karl Marx, Paulo Freire, Emily Durkheim. So the banking, the Paulo Freire is considered the father of the banking concept in critic education. So according to the ideal philosophy, the primary aim of education is, please I'm going to read again. According to the idealist philosophy, the primary aim of education is preparation for practical life, spiritual and moral development, social efficiency, individual freedom. So here the idealistic approach is mainly spiritual and moral development. So then fifth, the hidden curriculum in school refers to. There is a hidden curriculum is there in the Indian education system. So what refers? Extracurricular activities, unwritten social norms and values taught implicitly, the official symbolism syllabus not shared with the student, teaching method unknown to parents. Here the hidden curriculum in school refers to the unwritten social norms and values taught implicitly. So the Talim educational philosophy is proposed by, it is very easy, Rabindranath Tagore, Mahatma Gandhi, S. Radhakrishnan and G.D. Krishnamurti. The answer is Mahatma Gandhi, who produced the Talim education philosophy. And also basic education also proposed by the Mahatma Gandhi. Then the theory analyzes how classroom interaction create the meaning is symbolic interactionism, functionalism, existentialism, conflict theory. So the theory that analyze how the classroom interaction create the meaning is the interaction, the word, it's refer the symbolic interactionism. According to the realistic philosophy, knowledge primarily comes from, okay, according to the realistic philosophy, knowledge primarily comes from intuition and reasoning, B. observation and sensory experience, C. divine revelation, D. construction. So the answer is observation and sensory experience. Which sociological theory views education as a serving essential functions for society stability? Okay, it comes to function. With sociological theory views education as serving essential function for society stability is critical theory, conflict theory, functionalism and postmodernism. The answer is functionalism. So existentialist education emphasizes on what? Rote memorization, vocalization training, social conformity, individual choice and authenticity. So the extension education emphasizes on individual choice and authenticity. So I request you go through this particular video and again you will get again and again you are going to get the understanding and you are going to remember the topics. Please do subscribe my channel and share with your friends so that I am able to create more videos which will be useful to your coming examination like deputy DEO and diet lecturers, etc. Thank you for watching my channel. All the best for your coming examination.